In 2010, a Jewish psychologist conducted a clinical study into the effects of a central pillar on Judaism's monotheistic belief, trust in God, on emotional well-being.
My name is David Rosmarin, and I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm an assistant professor at Harvard Medical School in the Department of Psychiatry, and I'm also the founder and director of the Center for Anxiety, which has a private outpatient and intensive outpatient clinic.
Dr. Rosmarin prepared a Judaism-based treatment plan for patients suffering from anxiety and stress.
I created a program to help people build higher levels of trust in God. I hopped a plane to Israel, and I met with a number of rabbis from around the country. And I asked them that question. I said, how would you help a person build faith and trust in God? And they gave me concepts, but they also gave me exercises. One of the concepts of trust in God is a belief that God is intimately involved in every detail of a person's life. It's not just that God created the world and set it into motion and let it go. That would not be the Jewish belief of God, but rather trust in God entails believing that every breath, every movement, everything that happens, whether externally or internally, is ultimately in God's hands. One of the exercises involves thinking about God's involvement in day-to-day exercises. For example, standing up from one's chair. Can we picture that, yes, I'm choosing to stand, but God is enabling me to stand. God is helping my ligaments to stay intact. He's helping my muscles to move. He's helping my central nervous system to be able to coordinate the entire process. I'm not in control of any of that. My muscles, or my ligaments, or my central nervous system, or my blood, or my pulmonary system. All of that is out of my hands. I can choose to act, to try to stand up, but all I'm doing is trying to make a move. I'm not actually completing it. That is a godly matter.
To elevate the effectiveness of his program, Dr. Rosmarin selected 125 individuals suffering from elevated stress levels and divided them into 3 groups. One group received a standard clinical relaxation treatment, another received no treatment, and a third group engaged in the Trust in God program.
The question was, is that going to help people who worry and who have anxiety in order to overcome their levels of stress? We compared that in a randomized controlled trial, Trust in God training, to something called progressive muscle relaxation. That's also a way of being able to control one's anxiety. And we had a third group of people who received no treatment at all. And what we found was that the Trust in God condition, the people who completed that, they did substantially better, and the effects were actually very significant. In statistical terms, it was a 2 standard deviation decrease in anxiety and worry over only a 2-week period, which is very, very significant.
To the doctor's surprise, the remarkable results were long-lasting, with post-treatment follow-ups showing no weakening of the anxiety-reducing effects of the program many weeks later.
What we found is that higher levels of belief associated with greater reductions in depression over time. It really provided clear evidence that working on one's faith can reduce levels of anxiety and depression and make things better. Experimental, clinical evidence. When people don't have a sense of purpose, they don't think that they're going somewhere. It's almost like an existential crisis, like who am I and what am I doing here and what's the point of all this? It's an easy catalyst for depression. Faith can be, it's probably the most common around the world way of establishing a sense of purpose. I'm doing this as a part of my godly mission. This is what I'm here to do. This was destined. Those are powerful ideas and messages that can have a massive impact on the way we think and the way we feel day to day.